Welcome to Patricia's Orchids. Today I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm still going to share my current blooms, triumphs and failures, but I'm also going to share my thoughts on how and why I run the greenhouse the way I do. First, this is my Dendrobium forbesii. This is one of my triumphs, and this is one of my failures. My Cattleya, Mahina, Yahiro, Ulii, but I brought it inside probably October time, and into the house from the greenhouse. And of course, in the greenhouse, it had cooler nights, and when I brought it in the house, the nights didn't get so cold anymore. And by November, it started shooting buds in its sheaths. Usually it wouldn't bloom until probably around March. And so it bloomed a little bit earlier. And they were weak blooms is the best way to describe it. The stalk there was twice the size last year. It was very thick and strong, and this has been weak. The blooms were weak. The flower stalks were weak. The first two blooms didn't last more than a couple of weeks, probably less than a couple of weeks. And normally last year it lasted well over 3 weeks. And of course they were larger as well. But so hopefully next year I'll leave it in the greenhouse. This is one of my triumphs. This is my Cattleya trianae. And, well, I knocked one of the blooms off, but I split this just over a year ago. And, well, it's grown new roots on both divisions and the back bulbs. And the flowers on my Dendrochilum glumaceum has started to, well, you can see they started to go brown. But I mean, it's still scented, but the scent from the Cattleya trianae overshadows it. So, also my Phalaenopsis philippinensis has buds. This blooms regularly at this time of year. And my Oncidium sweet sugar is still in bloom, though it has started to drop a few flowers now. I'm quite pleased with it. It's fairly easy to grow in the house, so I'll probably just leave it in the house somewhere in the winter. I might put it in the greenhouse. That's a bit silly. I nearly forgot my Dendrochilum tenellum. And this is my phytopod where I keep my hot growing. This I keep at 18 Celsius minimum. Sometimes it drops down to 17, but I'm quite pleased with my Vanda lamellata. I do like it. I'm not sure about the scent. To me, it smells of baby powder. I do enjoy it. And that's my Cattleya autumnalis. And it's got a bud in the sheath there. So it looks like it'll bloom in the spring. I'm quite pleased with it because usually I just get buds in the fall. So hopefully I'll be able to get it to bloom twice a year. That's what I'm aiming with a lot of my Cattleyas. I should be able to get them to bloom twice a year. Dendrobium nobile, my species. Okay, so let's see. You can see there. You can see the. Don't know if those will turn into kikis again like they did last year. I haven't watered it. I haven't fed it. I haven't even tried to look at it. I think it's gonna turn into kikis again. You can see all the kikis from last year. I haven't cut them off, but I probably will. I mean, it started on new growth. So you can see the new growth down there. That's one new growth. There's some new growths here as well. So what I'll do is, I think it was Roger that mentioned about giving it less sun in the summer. It goes up there. So, up there. So that's what I'll do this summer. I will give it less light. And over here, which needs to be cleaned and wiped down, is I just cover this with the bubble wrap up to here. Put it over. And that's where I keep these. All these here. And my Laelia superbiens, which has already started its new growth. So I'm happy with that, because the new growth has already started. So, and last year's growth is nice, big and fat. So I'm happy with that. It seems to like how I'm keeping it. Let's see. Oh, my Laelia purpuratas. Yep, I don't put them away anymore. They seem to still be growing, even though they've had a couple nights at 8 Celsius. But they still seem okay. They get a heat mat at night, so their roots stay at a reasonable level. We'll see how they bloom. If not, then I'll put them back in the little cubby hole. So this is my Laelia autumnalis. The blooms are still looking lovely. I set up my greenhouse so the roof line runs southeast to northwest. I chose this orientation because the largest cost would be heating in the winter, and this setup maximizes the morning sun and solar gain during the most expensive months of the year. When I started the greenhouse 4 years ago, I kept the thermostat at 5 Celsius. Gradually, it has crept up, and this winter I have it set at 9 Celsius. I use an oil-filled radiator and 2 fans. This usually keeps the thermostat, the temperature above 8 Celsius in the coldest area of the greenhouse. The ambient temperature around the heated cubbyholes tends to be around 11 to 12 Celsius. Since the beginning of December, there have been 11 days where the greenhouse temperature stayed below 13 Celsius, and 40 days where it stayed below 18 Celsius. Did I say I wasn't heating the main area of the greenhouse during the day? I only heat the main area at night and the cubbyholes as needed. I also wrapped the outside of the greenhouse in bubble wrap. I do think this did help as an extra layer of insulation and draft proofing, but unfortunately I had to remove it last week as I found baby garden snails trying to hide in the bubble wrap. Hopefully none of them found their way into the greenhouse. So how are my orchids with this new regime? This is the first time I've managed to get my Cattleya luedemanniana to bloom in the spring. This is also the earliest my Vanda lamellata is in bud. Usually the buds don't form until the summer. My Mexican Laelias, which I grow cold, bloomed about 4 weeks early, but the orchids all seem to be happy and healthy. Over here is my Dendrobium amethystoglossum. And as you can see, I got this one reasonably good. It's got lots. I've had this probably nearly 2 years now. And this is its first blooming. So, well, it's got quite a few. Looking at the way it goes, don't know if I should mount this or not. But yeah, I haven't counted how many spikes there are, but most of the canes have spikes. All the older ones seem to have either a few spikes. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with this. So this is my Dendrobium amethystoglossum. And I think we will finish there with a success. Thank you for spending time with me. Take care. Bye.